Great.
I'm really happy that it didn't kill the mutants. Anyways, flourish. Enter the Emperor Saturninus, Tamora, and her two sons with Aaron the Moor, drums and trumpets. At one door, enter at the other door Basanius and Lavinia with Lucius, Marcius, and Quintus, and others.
So, Basanius, you have played your prize. God give you joy, sir, of your gallant bride.
And you have yours, my lord. I say no more, nor wish no less, and so I take my leave.
Traitor, if Rome have law or we have power, thou and thy faction shall repent this rape.
Rape, you call it, my lord, to seize my own, my true betrothed love, and now my wife? But let the laws of Rome determine all. Meanwhile, I am possessed of all that is mine.
'Tis good, sir. You are very short with us. But if we live, we'll be as sharp with you.
My lord, what I have done, as best I may, answer I must, and shall do with my life. Only thus much I give your grace to know, by all the duties that I owe to Rome, this noble gentleman, Lord Titus here, is in opinion and in honor wronged, that in the rescue of Lavinia with his own hand did slay his youngest son in zeal to you, and highly moved to wrath to be controlled in that he frankly gave. Receive him then to favor, Saturnine, that hath expressed himself in all his deeds, a father and a friend to thee and Rome.
Prince Vespasianus, leave to plead my deeds, that thou and those that have dishonored me, Rome and the righteous heaven be my judge, how I have loved and honored Saturnine.
He kneels.
My worthy lord, if ever tomorrow were gracious in those princely eyes of thine, then hear me speak indifferently for all, and at my suit sweet pardon what is past. What, madam? Be dishonored openly and basely put it up without revenge? Can someone be Tamora for this one, please?
Not so, my lord. The gods of Rome forfend I should be author to dishonor you. But on mine honor dare I undertake, for good Lord Titus' innocence in all, whose fury not dissembled speaks his griefs, then at my suit look graciously on him. Lose not so noble a friend on vain suppose, nor with sour looks afflict his gentle heart. My lord, be ruled by me. Be one at last. Dissemble all your griefs and discontents. You are but newly planted in your throne, lest then the people, and patricians too, upon a just survey take Titus's part, and so supplant you for ingratitude, which Rome reputes to be a heinous sin. Yield it entreats, and then let me alone. I'll find a day to massacre them all, and raise their faction and their family, the cruel father and his traitorous sons, to whom I sued for my dear son's life, and make them known what 'tis to let a queen kneel in the streets and beg for grace in vain. Come, come, sweet emperor, come, Andronicus, take up this good old man, and cheer the heart that dies in tempest of thy angry frown.
Rise, Titus, rise. My empress hath prevailed.
I thank your majesty and her, my lord. These words, these looks, infuse new life in me.
Titus, I am incorporate in Rome, a Roman now, adopted happily, and must advise the emperor for his good. This day all quarrels die, Andronicus, and let it be mine honor, good my lord, that I have reconciled your friends and you. For you, Prince Basanius, I have passed my word and promise to the emperor that you will be more mild and tractable, and fear not, lords. And you, Lavinia, by my advice all humbled on your knees, you shall ask pardon of his majesty. Marcus, Lavinius, Lucius, Marcus, and Quintus kneel. We do, and vow to heaven and his highness that what we did was mildly as we might, tendering our sister's honor and our own.
That on mine honor, here do I protest.
Away and talk not. Trouble us no more.
Nay, nay, sweet emperor, we must all be friends. The tribune and his nephews kneel for grace. I will not be denied. Sweetheart, look back.
Marcus, for thy sake and thy brothers here, and at my lovely tomorrow's entreats, I do remit these young men's heinous faults. Stand up,
They rise.
Lavinia. Though you left me like a churl, I found a friend, and sure as death I swore I would not part a bachelor from the priest. Come, if the emperor's court can feast two brides, you are my guest, Lavinia, and your friends. This day shall be a love day tomorrow.
Tomorrow, and it please your majesty to hunt the panther and the hart with me, with horn and hound we will give your grace bonjour.
Be it so, Titus, and gratitude too.
Sound trumpets. All but Aaron exit. Act 2, Scene 1. Aaron reveals that he is Tamora's lover, and then stops a fight between her sons, Chiron and Demetrius, who both want Lavinia. He encourages them, trigger warning, to join in raping her. Scene 1.
Now climbeth Tamora Olympus' top, safe out of fortune's shot, and sits aloft, secure of thunder's crack or lightning flash, advanced upon pale envy's threatening reach, as when the golden sun salutes the morn, and having gilt the ocean with his beams, gallops the zodiac in his blistering coach, and overlooks the highest peering hill. So, Tamora, upon her wit doth earthly honor wait, and virtue stoops, and trembles at her frown. And then Aaron, arm thy heart, and fit thy thoughts to mount aloft with thy imperial mistress, and mount her pitch whom thou in triumph long hast prisoner held, fettered in amorious chains, and faster bound to Aaron's charming eyes than as Prometheus tied to Caucasus. Awash with slavish weeds and servile thoughts, I will be bright and shine in pearl and gold to wait upon this new-made empress. To wait, said I, to wanton with this queen, this goddess, this Semiramis, this nymph, this siren that will charm Rome Saturnine and see his shipwreck and his common wheels. Hala! What storm is this?
Enter Chiron and Demetrius, braving.
What is that?
Zoe, sweetheart.
That's me?
So
Oh,
you're
that is me. Sorry. Okay. Sharon, thy ears want wit, thy wit wants edge, and manners to intrude where I am graced, and may, for aught thou knowest, affect to be.
Demetrius, thou dost overween and all, and so in this, to bear me down with braves. 'Tis not the difference of a year or two makes me less gracious, or thee more fortunate. I am as able and as fit as thou, to serve and to deserve thy mistress' grace, and that my sword upon thee shall prove, and plead my passions for Lavinia's love. Clubs, these lovers will not keep the peace.
I can jump in for Karen if you want, Jerome. Or if you want to do both in the scene back and forth.
Personally, I'm really enjoying the two different
Yeah,
voices she's doing.
That should be fine for now. I'll let you know.
Why, boy? Although our mother, unadvised, gave you a dancing rapier by your side, are you so desperate grown to threat over your friends? Go to, have your lathe brewed within your shed, till you know better how to handle it.
Meanwhile, sir, with the little skill I have, full well shalt thou perceive how much I dare.
Why, boy? Were you so brave?
They draw.
Why, how now, lords? So near the emperor's palace dare you draw and maintain such a quarrel openly? Full well I wot the ground of all this grudge. I would not for 1,000,000 of gold the cause were known to them as most concerns, nor would your noble mother for much more be so dishonored in the court of Rome. For shame, put up.
Till till I have shed my rapier in his bosom, and withal thrust these reproachful speeches down his throat, that he hath breathed in my dishonor here.
For that I am prepared and full resolve, full coward, that thunderous with thy tongue, and with thy weapon nothing darest perform. Away, I say, now by the gods that warlike gods adore, this petty brabble will undo us all. Why, lords, and think you not how dangerous it is to jet upon a prince's right? What is Lavinia then become so loose, or Basanias so degenerate, that for her love such quarrels may be broached without controlment, justice, or revenge? Young lords, beware. And should the empress know this discord's ground, the music would not please. I care not. I knew she and all the world. I love Lavinia more than all the world.
Youngling, learn thou to make some meaner choice. Lavinia is thine elder brother's hope.
Why are you mad? Or know you not in Rome how fierce and impatient they be, and cannot brook competitors in love? I tell you, lords, you do but plot your death by this device. Aaron, 1,000 deaths would I propose to achieve her whom I love. To achieve her how?
Why make thou it so strange? She is a woman, therefore may be wooed. She is a woman, therefore may be won. She is Lavinia, therefore must be loved. What man more water gliders by the mill than was the miller of? And easy it is of a cut loaf to steal a shibe, we know. Though Bassianus be the emperor's brother, better than he had worn Vulcan's badge.
Aye, and as good as Saturnitus may.
Then why should he despair that knows to court it with words, fair looks, and liberality? What hast not thou full often struck a doe and won her cleanly by the keeper's nose?
Why then it seems more certain snatch, or so would serve your turns. Aye, so the turn were served.
Aaron, thou hast hit it.
Would you had hit it? Would you had hit it too? Then should not we be tired with this ado? Why, hark you, and are you such fools to swear for this? Would it offend you then that both should speed? Faith, not me.
Nor me, so I were one.
For shame, be friends and join for that you jar. 'Tis polity and stratagem must do that you affect, and so must your resolve. That what you cannot as you would achieve, you must perforce accomplish as you may. Take this of me. Lucretia was not more chaste than this Lavinia, Basanias' love. Speedier course than lingering languishment must we pursue, and I have found the path. My lords, a solemn hunting is in hand. There will the lovely Roman ladies troop. The forest walks are wide and spacious, and many unfrequented plots there are, fit to be kind for rape and villainy. Single you thither then this dainty dow, and strike her home by force, if not by words. This way, or not at all, stand you in hope. Come, our empress with her sacred wit to villainy and vengeance consecrate, will we acquaint withal what we intend, and she shall file our engines with advice that will not square yourselves, but to your wishes' height advance you both. The emperor's court is like the house of fame, the palace full of tongues, of eyes and ears. The woods are ruthless, deaf and dull. There speak and strike. Brave boys, and take your turns, that serve your lust, shadowed from heaven's eyes, and revel and Lavinia's treasury. Thy counsel, lad, smells of no cowardice.
Oh,
Sit fast, O Nefa, till I find a stream to cool this heat, a charm to calm these fits. Persegia permanes vehor.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 2. As the morning hunt gets underway, Demetrius and Chiron. anticipate raping Lavinia. Scene 2. Enter Titus Andronicus and his 3 sons and Marcus, making a noise with hounds and horns.
The hunt is up. The moon is bright and gray. The fields are fragrant and the woods are green. Uncouple here and let us make a bay, and wake the emperor and his lovely bride, and rouse the prince and ring a hunter's peal, that all the court may echo with noise. Sons, let it be your charge, as it is ours, to attend the emperor's person carefully. I have been troubled in my sleepless night, but dawning day new comfort hath inspired.
Hear a cry of hounds and wind horns in a peal. Then Saturninus, Timora, Basanius, Lavinia, Chiron, Demetrius, and their attendants.
Many good morrows to your majesty, madam, to you as many and as good. I promise at your grace a hunter's peal.
And you have rung it lustily, my lords, somewhat too early for new married ladies.
Lavinia, how say you?
I say no. I have been broad awake 2 hours more.
Come on then, horse and chariots let us have, and to our sport. Madam, now shall you see our Roman hunting.
I have dogs, my lord. We'll rouse the proudest panther in the chase and climb the highest promontory top.
And I have horse will follow where the game makes way and runs like swallows over the plain.
Karen, we hunt not, we with horse nor hound, but hope to pluck a dainty doe to ground.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 3. Aaron sets a trap to destroy Basanius and put the blame on Titus's sons, Quintus and Martius. He has tomorrow quarrel with Lavinia and Basanius, a quarrel that ends in Basanius's death at the hands of Chiron and Demetrius, who will carry off Lavinia. Aaron then brings Quintus and Martius to the pit where Basanius's body lies. Using a forged letter and hidden gold, makes them appear guilty of the murder. Scene 3. Enter Aaron, alone, carrying a bag of gold.
He that had would think that I had none to bury so much gold under a tree, and never after to inherit it. Let him that thinks of me so abjectly know that this gold must coin a stratagem, which cunningly effected will beget in very excellent piece of villainy.
He hides the bag.
And so repose, sweet gold, for their unrest that have their alms out of the empress' chest.
Enter Timora, alone, to Aaron the Moor.
My lovely Aaron, wherefore look'st thou sad? Everything doth make a gleeful boast. The birds chant melody on every bush. The snake's lies roll it in the cheerful sun. The green leaves quiver with the cooling wind and make a checkered shadow on the ground. Under their sweet shade, Aaron, let us sit, and whilst the babbling echo mocks the hound, replying sheerly to the well-tuned horns as if a trouble hunt were heard at once, let us sit down and mark their yellowing noise, and after conflict such as was supposed the wandering prince and Dido once enjoyed, when a happy storm they were surprised and curtained with a council-keeping cave, we may each wreathed in the other's arms. Our pastimes done, possess a golden slumber, whilst hounds and horns and sweet melodious birds be unto us as is a nurse's song of lullaby to bring her a babe asleep.
Madam, though Venus govern your desires, Saturn is dominator over mine. What signifies my deadly standing eye, my silence, and my cloudy melancholy? My fleece of woolly hair that now uncurls, even as an adder whom she doth unroll, to do some fatal execution. No, madam, there are no venereal signs. Vengeance is in my heart, death is in my head, blood and revenge are hammering in my head. Hark, Timora, the empress of my soul, which ever hopes more than heaven than rest in thee. This is the day of doom for Basanius. His Philomal must lose her tongue today. Thy sons make pillage of her chastity and wash their hands in Basanius' blood.
He takes out a paper.
Seest thou this letter? Take it up, I pray thee, and give the king this fatal plotted scroll.
He hands her the paper.
Now, question me no more. We are espied. Here comes a parcel of our hopeful booty, which dreads not their lives' destruction.
Enter Bassianus and Lavinia.
Ah, my sweet Moor, sweeter to me than life.
No more, great empress! Bassianus, come, be cross with him, and I'll go fetch thy sons to back thy quarrels, whatsoever they be.
He exits.
Who have we here? Rome's royal empress, unfurnished of her well-beseeming troop? Or is it Diane, habited like her, who hath abandoned her holy groves to see the general hunting in this forest?
Saucy controller of my private steps, had I the power that some say Diane had, thy temples should be planted presently, with horns as was Actaeon's, and the hounds should drive upon thy new transformed limbs, unmannerly intruder as thou art.
Under your patience, gentle empress, 'tis thought you have a goodly gift in horning, and to be doubted that your Moor and you are singled forth to try experiments. Jove shield your husband from his hounds today. 'Tis pity they should take him for a stag.
Believe me, queen, your swarthy Cimmerian doth make your honor of his body's hue, spotted, detested, and abominable. Why are you sequestered from all your train, dismounted from your snow-white goodly steed, and wandered hither to an obscure plot, accompanied but with a barbarous Moor, if foul desire had not conducted you?
And being intercepted in your sport, great reason that my noble lord be rated for sauciness. I pray you, let us hence, and let her joy her raven-colored love. This valley fits the purpose passing well.
The king, my brother, shall have notice of this.
Aye, for these slips have made him noted long. Good king, to be so mightily abused.
Why, I have patience to endure all of this.
Enter Chiron and Demetrius.
How now, dear sovereign and our gracious mother, why does your highness look so pale and wan?
Have I not reason, think you, to look pale? These two have ticed me hither to this place, a barren detested vale you see it is. The trees, thou summer yet forlorn and lean, overcome with moss and baleful mistletoe. Her never shines the sun, here nothing breeds unless the nightly owl or fatal raven. And when they showed me this abhorred pit, they told me, here, at dead time of the night, 1,000 fiends, 1,000 hissing snakes, 10,000 squealing toads, as many urchins would make such fearful and confused cries, as any mortal body hearing it should straight fall mad or else die suddenly. No sooner had they told his hellish tale, but straight they told me they would bind me here onto the body of a dismal ewe and leave me to this miserable death. And then they called me foul adulteress, lascivious Goth, and all the bitterest terms that ever ear did hear to such effect. And had you not by wondrous fortune come, this vengeance on me had they executed. Revenge it as you love your mother's life, or be you not henceforth called my children.
Drawing his dagger.
This is a witness that I am thy son.
Drawing
And this-
his dagger.
And this for me struck home to show my strength.
They stab Bassianus.
Aye, come, Semiramis, nay, barbarous Timora, for no name fits thy nature but thy own.
Give me the poniard. You shall know, my boys, your mother's hand shall right your mother's wrong.
Stay, madam, here is more belongings to her. First, thrash the corn, then after burn the straw. This minion stood upon her chastity, upon her nuptial vow, her loyalty, and with that painted hope raves your mightiness, and shall she carry this unto her grave?
And if she do, I were a eunuch, drag hence her husband to some secret hole, and make this dead trunk pillow to our lust.
But when you have the honey you desire, let not this wasp outlive us both to sting.
I warrant you, madam, we will make that sure. Come, mistress, now perforce we will enjoy that nice preserved honesty of yours.
O Tamora, thou bearest a woman's face.
I will not hear her speak. Away with her.
Sweet lords, entreat her hear me but a word.
Zoe.
Can you hear me? Sorry, my internet froze. Listen, fair madam, let it be your glory to see your tears, but be your heart to them, and be unrelenting flint to drops of rain.
When did the tiger's young ones teach the dam? Oh, do not learn her wrath, she taught it to thee. The milk thou suckest from her did turn to marble, even at thy teat thou hadst thy tyranny. Yet every mother breeds not sons alike. Do thou entreat her show a woman's pity? Do thou entreat her show a woman's pity?
Wouldst thou have me prove myself a bastard?
'Tis true the raven doth not hatch a lark. Yet have I heard, oh, could I find it now, the lion moved with pity did endure to have his princely paws pared all away. Some say that ravens foster forlorn children, that whilst their own birds famish in their nests. Oh, be to me, though thy hard heart say no, nothing so kind but something pitiful.
I know not what it means. Away with her.
Oh, let me teach thee for my father's sake, that gave thee life when well he might have slain thee. Be not obdurate, open thy deaf ears.
Hadst thou in person near offended me, even for his sake am I pitiless. Remember, boys, I poured forth tears in vain to save your brother from the sacrifice. But fierce Andronicus would not relent. Therefore, away with her, and use her as you will. The worse to her, the better loved of me.
O Tamora, be called a gentle queen, and with thine own hands kill me in this place. For 'tis not life that I have begged so long. Poor I was slain when Bassianus died.
What begg'st thou then? Fond woman, let me go.
'Tis present death I beg, and one thing more than that womanhood denies my tongue to tell. Oh, keep me from their worse than killing lust, and tumble me into some loathsome pit where never man's eye may behold my body. Do this, and be a charitable murderer.
So should I rob my sweet sons of their fee. No, let them satisfy their lust on thee.
Oh.
Away, for thou hast stayed us here too long.
No grace, no womanhood. Ah, beastly creature, the blot and enemy to our general name. Confusion fall.
Nay, then I'll stop your mouth. Bring thou her husband. This is the hall where Aaron bids us hide him.
They put Bassianus's body in the pit and exit, carrying off Lavinia.
Farewell, my sons. See that you make her sure. Ne'er let my heart know merry cheer indeed, till all the Andronicus be made away. Now will I hence to seek my lovely Moor, and let my spleenful sons this troll deflowerer.
She exits. Enter Aaron with two of Titus's sons, Quintus and Marcus.
Come on, my lords, the better foot before. Straight will I bring you to the loathsome pit where I spy the panther fast asleep.
My sight is very dull, whate'er it bodes.
And mine, I promise you, were it not for shame. Well could I leave our sport to sleep a while.
He falls into the pit.
Fallen? What subtle hole is this, whose mouth is covered with rude growing briars, upon whose leaves are drops of new shed blood, as fresh as morning dew distilled on flowers? A very fatal place, it seems to me. Speak, brother, hast thou hurt thee with the fall?
Oh, brother, with the dismal's object hurt, that ever I with sight might heart lament.
Now will I fetch the king to find them here, that he thereby may have a likely guess how these were they that made away his brother.
He exits.
Why dost not comfort me and help me out from this unhallowed and blood-stained hole?
I am surprised with an uncouth fear. A chilling sweat o'erruns my trembling joints. My heart suspects more than mine eyes can see.
To prove that thou hast a true divining heart, Aaron and thou look down into this den and see a fearful sight of blood and death.
Aaron is gone, and my compassionate heart will not permit mine eyes once to behold the thing whereat it trembles by surmise. Oh, tell me who it is, for ne'er till now was I a child to fear I know not what.
Lord Bassianus lies bewrayed in blood, all on a heap, like a slaughtered lamb in this detested dark blood-drinking pit.
If it be dark, how dost thou know 'tis he?
Upon his bloody finger he doth wear a precious ring that lightens all this hole, which like a taper in some monument doth shine upon the dead man's earthy cheeks, and shows a ragged entrails of his pit. So pale did shine the moon of Pyramus when he by night lay bathed in maiden blood. Oh, brother, help me with thy fainting hand, if fear hath made thee faint as me it hath. Out of this fell devouring receptacle, as hateful as cocky, what is it? Anyone? What is it?
Cositus?
There it is. It's why we have, as hateful as Cositus, misty mouth. Oh.
Reaching into the pit.
Reach me thy hand, that I may help thee out, or wanting strength to do thee so much good, I may be plucked into the swallowing womb of this deep pit, poor Basanius' grave.
He pulls Martius's hand.
I have no strength to pluck thee to the brink.
Nor I no strength to climb without thy help.
Thy hand once more, I will not loose again, till thou art here aloft or I below. Thou canst not come to me, I come to thee.
He falls in. Enter the Emperor Saturninus with attendants and Aaron the Moor.
Along with me. I'll see what hole is here and what he is that now is leaped into. Say who art thou that lately didst descend into this gaping hollow of the earth?
The unhappy sons of old Andronicus, brought hither in a most unlucky hour to find thy brother Basanius dead.
My brother dead? I know thou dost but jest. He and his lady both are at lodge upon the north side of the pleasant chase. 'Tis not an hour since I left them.
We know not where you left them all alive, but out, alas, here have we found him dead.
Enter Timora, Titus Andronicus, and Lucius.
Where is my lord the king? Here, Timora, thou grieved with killing grief. Where is thy brother Basanius? Now to the bottom dost thou search my wound, poor Bassianus. Here lies murdered. Then all too late I bring this fatal writ, the complet of this timeless tragedy, and wonder greatly that man's face can fold in pleasing smiles such murderous tyranny.
She giveth Saturnine a letter.
And if we miss to meet him handsomely, sweet huntsman Bassianus, 'tis we mean, do thou so much as dig the grave for him. Thou knowest our meaning. Look for thy reward among the nettles at the elder tree, which overshades the mouth of that same pit where we decree to bury Bassianus. Do this and purchase us thy lasting friends. Oh, Timora, was ever heard the like? This is the pit, and this the elder tree. Look, sirs, if you can find the huntsman out, that should have murdered Bassianus. Here.
My gracious lord, here is the bag of gold.
2 of thy whelps fell curs of the body of bloody kind, have here bereft my brother of his life. Sirs, drag them from the pit onto the prison. There let them bide until we have devised some never heard of torturing pain for them. What are they in this pit? Oh, wondrous thing, how easily murder is discovered!
Attendants pull Quintus Marcius and the body of Bassianus from the pit, kneeling.
I, Emperor, upon my feeble knee I beg this boon with tears not likely shed, that this fell fault of my accursed sons, accursed if the faults be proved in them.
If it be proved, you see it as apparent. Who found this letter, Tamora? What is it you? Andronicus himself did take it up.
I did, my lord, yet let me be your bail. For by my father's reverend tomb I vow they shall be ready at your highness's will to answer the suspicion with your lives.
Thou shalt not bail them. See thou follow me. Some bring the murdered body, some the murderers. Let them not speak a word. The guilt is plain. For by my soul were there worse end than death. That end upon them should be executed. Andronicus, I will entreat the king. Fear not thy sons, they shall do well enough.
Rising.
Come, Lucius, come, stay not to talk with them.
They exit, with attendants leading Marcius and Quintus and bearing the body of Bassianus. Act 2, Scene 4. The raped and mutilated Lavinia is discovered by her horrified uncle Marcus. Scene 4. Enter the Empress's sons, Demetrius and Chiron, with Lavinia, her hands cut off and her tongue cut out, ravished.
Zoe.
We lost her for a sec.
Brother. Oh.
We lost her.
I'll read until she returns.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, now go tell, and if thy tongue can speak, who 'twas that cut thy tongue and ravished thee.
Write down thy mind, bewray thy meaning so, and if thy stumps will let thee, play the scribe.
See how with signs and tokens she can scroll.
Go
Scrowl.
home. Call for sweet water, wash thy hands.
She hath no tongue to call, nor hands to wash, and so let's leave her to her silent walks.
And for my cause, I should go hang myself.
If thou hadst hands to help thee knit the cord.
Chiron and Demetrius exit. Enter Marcus from hunting.
Who is this? My niece that flies away so fast? Cousin, a word. Where is your husband? If I do dream, would all my wealth would wake me? If I do wake, some planet strike me down, that I may slumber in eternal sleep. Speak, gentle niece. What stern ungentle hands have lopped and hewed and made thy body bare of her 2 branches, those sweet ornaments whose circling shadows kings have sought to sleep in, and might not gain so great a happiness as half thy love? Why dost not speak to me? Alas, a crimson river of warm blood, like to a bubbling fountain stirred with wind, doth rise and fall between thy rosed lips, coming and going with thy honey breath. Be sure some Tereus hath deflowered thee, and, lest thou shouldst detect him, cut thy tongue. Ah, now thou turn'st away thy face for shame, and notwithstanding all this loss of blood, as from a conduit with 3 issuing spouts, yet do thy cheeks look red as Titan's face, blushing to be encountered with a cloud. Shall I speak for thee? Shall I say 'tis so? Oh, that I knew thy heart, and knew the beast, that I might rail at him to ease my mind. Sorrow concealed, like an oven stopped, doth burn the heart to cinders where it is. Fair Philomela, why, she but lost her tongue, and in a tedious sampler sowed her mind. But lovely niece, that mean is cut from thee. A craftier Tereus cousin hast thou met, and he hath cut those pretty fingers off that could have better sewed than Philomel. Oh, had the monster seen those lily hands tremble like aspen leaves upon a lute, and make the silken strings delight to kiss them, he would not then have touched them for his life. Or, had he heard the heavenly harmony which that sweet tongue hath made, he would have dropped his knife and fell asleep, as Cerberus at the Thracian's poet's feet. Come, let us go and make thy father blind, for such a sight will blind a father's eye. 1 hour's storm will drown the fragrant meads. What will whole months of tears thy father's eyes? Do not draw back, for we will mourn with thee. Oh, could our mourning ease thy misery?
They exit. Resuming recording, that's what I meant to say.
Do these people know that time?
Unfortunately, yes. Anyways, Act 3, Scene 1. Marcius and Quintus are led off to an execution. Aaron says their lives can be saved if Titus, Lucius, and Marcus cuts off a hand and sends it as ransom. Titus sends his hand, and a messenger returns the hand and the heads of Marcius and Quintus. Titus vows revenge, telling the exiled Lucius to raise an army of Goths to march on Rome. Scene 1. Enter the judges and senators with Titus's 2 sons, Quintus and Marcius, bound, passing on the stage to the place of execution, and Titus going before, pleading.
Hear me, great fathers, noble tribunes, stay. For pity of mine age, whom youth was spent in dangerous wars, whilst you securely slept, for all my blood in Rome's great quarrel shed, all the frosty nights that I have watched, and for these bitter tears which now you see, filling the aged wrinkles in my cheeks, be pitiful to my condemned sons, whose souls is not corrupted as this thought. For 22 sons I have never wept, because they died in honor's lofty bed.
Andronicus lieth down, and the judges pass by him. They exit with the prisoners as Titus continues speaking.
For these tribunes in the dust I write, my heart's deepest languor and my soul's sad tears. Let my tears stanch the earth's dry appetite. My son's sweet blood will make it shame and blush. O earth, I will befriend thee more with rain that shall distill from these 2 ancient ruins than youthful April shall with all his showers. In summer's drought, I'll drop upon thee still. In winter, with warm tears, I'll melt the snow and keep eternal springtime on thy face, so thou refuse to drink my dear son's blood.
Enter Lucius with his weapon drawn.
O reverend tribunes, O gentle aged men, unbind my sons. Reverse the doom of death, and let me say that never wept before, my tears are now prevailing orators.
O noble father, you lament in vain. The tribunes hear you not. No man is by, and you recount your sorrows to a stone.
Ah, Lucius, for thy brothers let me plead. Grave tribunes, once more I entreat of you.
My gracious lord, no tribune hears you speak.
Why, 'tis no matter, man. If they did hear, they would not mark me. They did mark, they would not pity me. Yet plead I must, and bootless unto them. Therefore I tell my sorrows to the stones, who, though they cannot answer my distress, yet in some sort they are better than the tribunes. For that they will not intercept my tale. When I do weep, they humbly at my feet receive my tears and seem to weep with me. And were they but attired in grave weeds, Rome could afford no tribunes like to these. A stone is soft as wax, tribunes more hard than stones. A stone is silent and offendeth not, and tribunes with their tongues doom men to death. But wherefore stand thou with thy weapon drawn?
to rescue my two brothers from their death, for which attempts the judges have pronounced my everlasting doom of banishment.
Oh, happy man, they have befriended thee. Why, foolish Lucius, dost thou not perceive that Rome is but a wilderness of tigers? Tigers must prey, and Rome affords no prey but me and mine. How happy art thou then from these endeavors and devourers to be banished? But who comes with our brother Marcus here?
Enter Marcus with Lavinia.
Marcus, speak, Marcus.
Titus, prepare thy aged eyes to weep, or if not so, thy noble heart to break. I bring consuming sorrow to thine age.
Will it consume me? Let me see it then.
This was thy daughter.
Why, Marcus, so she is.
This object kills me.
Faint-hearted boy, arise and look upon her. Speak, Lavinia. What accursed hand hath made thee handless in thy father's sight? What fool hath added water to the sea or brought a faggot to bright burning Troy? My grief was at the height before thou camest, and now like Nihilus it disdaineth bounds. Give me a sword. I'll chop off my hands too, for they have fought for Rome and all in vain, and they have nursed this woe in feeding life. In bootless prayer have they been held up, and they have served me to effectless use. Now all the service I require of them is that the one will help to cut the other. This well, Lavinia, that thou hast no hands, for hands to do Rome service is but vain.
Speak, gentle sister, who hath martyred thee?
Oh, that delightful engine of her thoughts, that blabbed them with such pleasing eloquence, is torn from forth that pretty hollow cage where, like a sweet melodious bird, it sung sweet varied notes, enchanting every ear.
Oh, save for her who hath done this deed.
Oh, thus I found her straying in the park, seeking to hide herself, as doth the deer that hath received some unrecurring wound.
It was my dear, and he that wounded her hath hurt me more than hath he killed me dead. For now I stand as one upon a rock, environed with a wilderness of sea, who marks the waxing tide grow wave by wave, expecting ever when some envious surge will in his brinish bowels swallow him. This way to death my wretched sons are gone. Here stands my other son, a banished man, and here my brother weeping at my woes. But that which gives my soul the greatest spurn is dear Lavinia, dearer than my soul. Had I but seen thy picture in this plight, it would have maddened me. What shall I do now I behold thy lively body so? Thou hast no hands to wipe away thy tears, nor tongue to tell me who hath martyred thee. Thy husband, he is dead, and for his death thy brothers are condemned and dead by this. Look, Marcus. Ah, son Lucius, look on her. When I did name her brothers, then fresh tears stood on her cheeks as doth the honeydew upon the gathered lily almost withered.
Perchance she weeps because they killed her husband. Perchance because she knows them innocent.
If they did kill thy husband, then be joyful, because the law hath ta'en revenge on them. No, they would not do so foul a deed. Witness the sorrow that their sister makes. Gentle Lavinia, let me kiss thy lips, or make some sign how I may do thee ease. Shall thy good uncle and thy brother Lucius and thou and I sit round about some fountain, looking all downwards to behold our cheeks, how they are stained like metals, yet not dry, with miry slime left on them by a flood? And in the fountain shall we gaze so long till the fresh taste be taken from that clearness and made a brine pit with our bitter tears? Or shall we cut away our hands like thine? Or shall we bite our tongues and in dumb shows pass the remainder of our hateful days? What shall we do? Shall we that have our tongues plot some device of further misery to make us wander it in a time to come?
Sweet father, cease your tears, for at your grief see how my wretched sister sobs and weeps.
Patience, dear niece. Good Titus, dry thine eyes.
Marcus, brother, well I what thy napkin cannot drink a tear of mine, for thou poor man hast drowned it with thine own.
My Lavinia, I will wipe thy cheeks.
Marcus, I understand her signs. Has she a tongue to speak? Now would she say that to her brother which I said to thee? His napkin, with his 2 tears all bewet, can do no service on her sorrowful cheeks. Oh, what a sympathy of woe is this, as far from help as limbo is from bliss.
Enter Aaron the Moor alone.
Titus Andronicus, my lord, the emperor, sends thee this word, that if thou love thy sons, let Marcus, Lucius, or thyself, or any one of you, chop off your hand and send it to the king. He for the same will send thee hither both thy sons alive, and that shall be the ransom for their fault.
O gracious emperor, O gentle Aaron, did ever raven sing so like a lark that gives sweet tidings of the sun's uprise? With all my heart I'll send the emperor my hand. Good Aaron, wilt thou help to chop it off?
Stay, father, for that noble hand of thine, that hath thrown down so many enemies, shall not be sent. My hand will serve the turn. My youth can better spare my blood than you, and therefore mine shall save my brothers' lives.
Which of your hands hath not defended Rome and reared aloft the bloody battle axe, writing destruction on the enemy's castle? Oh, none of both but are of high desert. My hand hath been but idle. Let it serve to ransom my 2 nephews from their death. Then have I kept it to a worthy end.
Nay, come, agree whose hand shall go along, for fear they die before the pardon come.
My hand shall go.
By heaven, it shall not go.
Sirs, strive no more. Such withered herbs as these are meet for plucking up, and therefore mine.
Sweet father, if I shall be thought thy son, let me redeem my brothers both from death.
And for our father's sake and mother's care, let me show a brother's love to thee.
Agree between you, I will spare my hand.
Then I'll go fetch an axe.
But I will use the axe.
Lucius and Marcus exit.
Come hither, Aaron. I'll deceive them both. Lend me thy hand, and I will give thee mine.
That be called deceit. I will be honest, and never whilst I live deceive men so. But I'll deceive you in another sort, and that you'll stay ere half an hour pass.
He cuts off Titus's hand. Enter Lucius and Marcus again.
Now stay your strife. What shall be is dispatched. Good Aaron, give his majesty my hand. Tell him it was a hand that warded him from 1,000 dangers. Bid him bury it. More hath it merited that let it have. As for my sons, say I account of them as jewels purchased at an easy price, and yet dear too because I bought mine own.
I go, Andronicus, and for thy hand look by and by to have thy sons with thee. Their heads, I mean. Oh, how this villainy doth fat me with the very thoughts of it. Let fools do good and fair men call for grace. Aaron will have his soul black like his face.
He exits.
Oh, here I lift this one hand up to heaven and bow this feeble ruin to the earth.
He kneels.
If any power pities wretched tears, to that I call.
Lavinia kneels.
What, wouldst thou kneel with me? Do then, dear heart, for heaven shall hear our prayers, or with our sighs we'll breathe the welkin dim and stain the sun with fog, as sometimes clouds when they do hug him in their melting bosoms.
Oh, brother, speak with possibility and do not break into these deep extremes.
Is not my sorrow deep, having no bottom? then be my passions bottomless with them.
But yet let reason govern thy lament.
If there were reason for these miseries, then into limits could I bind my woes. When heaven doth weep, doth not the earth overflow? If the winds rage, doth not the sea wax mad, threatening the welkin with his big swollen face? And wilt thou have a reason for this quarrel? I am the sea. Hark how her sighs doth flow. She is the weeping welkin, I the earth. Then must my sea be moved with her sighs. Then must my earth with her continual tears become a deluge, overflow and drown. For why my bowels cannot hide her woes, but like a drunkard I must vomit them. Then give me leave, for losers will have leave to ease their stomachs with a bitter tongues.
Enter a messenger with 2 heads and a hand.
Worthy Andronicus, ill art thou repaid for that good hand thou sent'st the emperor. Here are the heads of thy 2 noble sons, and here thy hands in scorn to thee sent back. Thy grief there sports, thy resolution mocked, thy woe is me to think upon thy woes, more than remembrance of my father's death.
He exits.
Oh shit, that's me. Fuck. Now let hot Etna cool in Sicily, and be my heart an ever-burning hell. These miseries are more than may be borne. To weep with them that weep doth ease some deal, but sorrow flouted at is double death.
Ah, that this sight should make so deep a wound, and yet detest life, not shrink thereat. That ever death should let life bear his name, where life hath no more interest than to breathe. Lavinia kisses Titus.
Alas, poor heart, that kiss is comfortless as frozen water to a starved snake.
When will this fearful slumber have an end?
Now farewell, flattery. Die, Andronicus. Thou dost not slumber. See thy 2 sons' heads, thy warlike hand, thy mangled daughter here, thy other banished son with this dear sight struck pale and bloodless, and thy brother, I, even like a stony image, cold and numb. Ah, now no more will I control thy griefs. Rent off thy silver hair, thy other hand gnawing with thy teeth, and be this dismal sight the closing up of our most wretched eyes. Now is a time to storm. Why art thou still? Why dost thou laugh? It fits not with this hour.
Titus and Lavinia rise.
Why, I have not another tear to shed. Besides, this sorrow is an enemy and would usurp upon my watery eyes and make them blind with tributary tears. Then which way shall I find revenge's cave? For these 2 heads do seem to speak to me and threat me I shall never come to bliss till all these mischiefs be returned again, even in the throats that have committed them. Come, let me see what task I have to do. You heavy people, circle me about that may turn me to each one of you and swear unto my soul to right your wrongs. The vow is made. Come, brother, take a head, and in this hand the other will I bear. And Lavinia, thou shalt be employed in these arms. Bear thou my hand, sweet wench, between thy teeth. As for thee, boy, go get thee from my sight. Thou art an exile, and thou must not stay. Hie to the Goth and raise an army there. And if you love me, as I think you do, let's kiss and part, for we have much to do.
All but Lucius exit. Farewell, Andronicus, my noble father, the woefulest man that ever lived in Rome. Farewell, proud Rome, till Lucius come again. He loves his pledges dearer than his life. Farewell, Lavinia, my noble sister. Oh, would thou wert as thou tofore hast been. But now nor Lucius nor Lavinia lives, but in oblivion and hateful griefs. If Lucius live, he will requite your wrongs, and make proud Saturnine and his empress beg at the gates like Tarquin and his queen. Now will I to the Goths, and raise a power to be revenged on Rome and Saturnine. Lucius exits. Act 3, Scene 2. In this... history. In this scene, which is found in the 1623 folio text, but not in the quarto, Titus is horrified when Marcus kills an innocent fly, but then turns on the dead fly in rage when told that it resembles Aaron the Moor. Scene 2. A banquet. Enter Titus Andronicus, Marcus Lavinia, and the boy, young Lucius, with servants.
Wait, so we're not reading the. Sorry, I don't have scene 2. I don't have Act 3, Scene 2 in my book.
Ah.
I have. Wait. Let me just use the link. Sorry to interrupt.
Cool. It's
Like
okay.
that
This is a
before?
fun, it's an extra feature.
Okay.
Behind the scenes, almost.
Bonus DVD features. Second disc.
Director's cut.
Jerome knows.
Jump to Act 3, Scene 2.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have a fun side thing while Kai finds it. I have a game that is called Shakespeare's Deaths, and it's a card game, and there is a character who is called the Fly, and it has no good stats except for swiftness of death.
That is amazing.
I guess this is it.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, what fly?
Okay.
I have the text now already.
Is anyone
fantastic.
else hearing loud fireworks outside?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was wondering if you guys could hear that. It's
Yeah,
right.
we can
Yes.
hear it. It's from Kai's side, right?
Sorry, I will mute.
No, I also am hearing it too in my
Oh.
place. Do we know what it is?
I heard it yesterday. I have no idea what it is.
People have been setting off fireworks on my end of Bushwick.
Is it some celebration going on?
I have no
I don't
idea.
know, because I had also been hearing it up in Greenpoint before I came down to Atlanta.
It's just summer in New York.
Oh, okay. It's just a
Okay.
thing. Love
Ariel's
it.
like, y'all don't know.
This is hilarious.
Y'all
man.
newbies.
It's like serious fireworks. They're not little.
It's
these
very
are
consistent too.
Fireworks.
Yeah, just now the explosion was just a firework that just went off very loudly. It made it sound like something actually happened in the streets.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, is it summer solstice? No.
Yeah.
Soon. Anyways.
Let's go. Have you read the scene 2 yet?
Yes, I'll read it
Okay.
again though.
Sure.
Scene 2, a banquet. Enter Titus Andronicus, Marcus Lavinia, and the boy, young Lucius, with servants.
So. Now sit and look you eat no more than will preserve just so much strength in us as will revenge these bitter woes of ours. Marcus, knit that sorrow redden not. Thy niece and I, poor creatures, want our hands and cannot passionate our tenfold grief with folded arms. This poor right hand of mine is left to tyrannize upon my breast, who, when my heart all mad with misery beats in this hollow prison of my flesh, then thus I thump it down. Thou map of woe that thus dost talk in signs, when thy poor heart beats with outrageous beating, thou canst not strike it thus to make it still. Wound it with sighing, girl, kill it with groans, or get some little knife between thy teeth and just against thy heart make thou a hole, that all the tears that thy poor eyes let fall may run into that sink, and soaking in, drown the lamenting fool in sea salt tears.
Fie, brother, fie. Teach her not thus to lay such violent hands upon her tender life.
How now? Has sorrow made thee doth already? Why, Marcus, no man should be mad but I. What violent hands can she lay on her life? Ah, wherefore dost thou urge the name of hands to bid Aeneas to the tale twice over how Troy was burned and he made miserable? Oh, handle not the handle not the theme to talk of hands, let's remember still we have none. Fie, how frankly I square my talk, as if we should forget we had no hands if Marcus did not name the word of hands. Come, let's fall to, and gentle girl, eat this. Here is no drink. Hark, Marcus, what she says. I can interpret all her martyred signs. She says she drinks no other drink but tears brewed with her sorrow, masked upon her cheeks. Speechless complainer, I will learn thy thought. In thy dumb action will I be as perfect as begging hermits in the holy prayers. Thou shalt not sigh, nor hold thy thumbs to heaven, nor hold thy thumbs to heaven, nor wink, nor kneel, nor make a sign, but I of these will wrest an alphabet, and by still practice learn to know thy meaning.
Good grandsire, leave these bitter, deep laments. Make my aunt merry with some pleasing tale. Alas, the tender boy, in passion moved, doth weep to see his grandsire's heaviness.
Peace, tender sapling, thou art made of tears, and tears will quickly melt thy life away.
Marcus strikes the dish with a knife.
What dost thou strike at, Marcus, with thy knife?
At that I have killed, my lord, a fly.
Out on thee, murderer! Thou killst my heart. Mine eyes are cloyed with view of tyranny. A deed of death done in the innocent becomes not Titus's brother. Get thee gone. I see thou art not for my company.
Alas, my lord, I have killed but a fly.
But how if that fly had a father and mother? How would he hang his slender gilded wings and buzz lamenting doings in the air? Poor harmless fly, that with his pretty buzzing melody came here to make us merry, and thou hast killed him.
Pardon me, sir. It was a black, ill-favored fly, like to the Empress Moor, therefore I killed him.
Oh, then pardon me for reprehending thee, for thou hast done a charitable deed. Give me thy knife. I will insult on him, flattering myself as if it were the Moor come hither purposely to poison me. There's for thyself, and that's for Timora. Sirrah, yet I think we are not brought so low, but that between us we can kill a fly that comes in likeness of the cold black Moor.
Alas, poor man, grief has so wrought on him he takes false shadows for true substances.
Come, take away. Lavinia, go with me. You'll to thy closet and go read with thee sad stories chanced in the times of old. Come, boy, go with me. Thy sight is young, and thou shalt read when mine begin to dazzle.
They exit. Act 4, Scene 1. Lavinia finds a way to reveal to Titus the story of her rape and mutilation and the names of the rapists. Scene 1. Enter Lucius's son, and Lavinia running after him, and the boy flies from her with his books under his arm. Enter Titus and Marcus.
Help, grandsire, help! My Aunt Lavinia follows me everywhere, I know not why. Good Uncle Marcus, see how swift she comes. Alas, sweet aunt, I know not what you mean. Stand by me, Lucius. Do not fear thine aunt.
She loves thee, boy, too well to do thee harm.
Aye, when my father was in Rome she did. What means my niece Lavinia by these signs?
Fear her not, Lucius. Somewhat doth she mean... See, Lucius, see, how much she makes of thee. Some whither would she have thee go with her? Ah, boy, Cornelia never with more care read to her sons than she hath to read to thee. Sweet poetry and Tully's orator. Oh, Kai is frozen.
No, I'm not frozen. In my text, you have another line. Sweet poetry in Tully's order. Canst thou not guess
That's
where?
Marcus's line.
Oh, wow. Sorry. In mine. Okay. All right. Dost thou not guess wherefore lies thee thus? My lord, I know not. I, nor can I guess, unless some fit or frenzy do possess her. For I have heard my grandsire say full oft extremity of griefs would make men mad. And I have read that Hecuba of Troy ran mad for sorrow. That made me to fear. Although, my lord, I know my noble aunt loves me as dear as ever my mother did, and would not, but in fury, fright my youth, which made me down to throw my books and fly, causeless perhaps. But pardon me, sweet aunt, and madam, if my uncle Marcus go, I will most willingly attend your ladyship. Lucius, I will.
How now, Lavinia? Marcus, what means this? Some book there is that she desires to see. Which is the girl of these? Open them, boy. But thou art deeper read and better skilled. Come and take choice of all my library, and so beguile thy sorrows until the heavens reveal the damned contriver of this deed. What lifts her up her arms in sequence thus?
I think she means that there were more than one confederate in the fact. Aye, more there was, or else to heaven she heaves them for revenge.
Lucius, what book is that she tosses so?
Grandsire, it's Ovid's Metamorphoses. My mother gave it me. For love of her that's gone, perhaps she culled it from among the rest.
Soft! So busily she turns the leaves. Help her! What will she find? Lavinia, shall I read? This is the tragic tale of Philomel, and treats of Terrace's treason and his rape. And the rape, I fear, was root of thy annoy.
See, brother, see. Note how she quotes the leaves.
Lavinia, wert thou thus surprised, sweet girl, ravished and wrong as Philomela was? First in the ruthless, vast, and gloomy woods? See, such a place there is where we did hunt. Oh, had we never hunted there, parent by that the poet here describes by nature made for murders and for rapes.
Oh, why should nature build so foul a den, unless the gods delight in tragedies?
Give signs, sweet girl, for here are none but friends. What Roman lord it was durst do the deed, or slunk not Saturnine as Tarquin erst that left the camp to sin in Lucretius' bed.
Sit down, sweet niece. Brother, sit down by me. Apollo, Pallas, Jove, or Mercury, inspire me that I may this treason find. My lord, look here. Look here, Lavinia.
He writes his name with his staff and guides it with feet and mouth.
This sandy plot is plain. Guide, if thou canst, this after me. I have writ my name without the help of any hand at all. Cursed be that heart that forced us to this shift. Write thou, good niece, and here display at last what God will have discovered for revenge. Heaven guide thy pen to print thy sorrows plain, that we may know the traitors and the truth.
She takes the staff in her mouth and guides it with her stumps and writes.
Oh, do ye read, my lord, what she hath writ?
Stuprum. Chiron, Demetrius.
What? What? The lustful sons of Tamara, performers of this heinous bloody deed?
Magni dominated poly, talentus audis scalera, talentus vitus.
Oh, calm thee, gentle lord, although I know there is enough written upon this earth to stir a mutiny in the mildest thoughts, and arm the minds of infants to exclaims. My lord, kneel down with me. Lavinia, kneel. And kneel, sweet boy, the Roman Hector's hope.
They all kneel.
And swear with me, as with the woeful Fere, and father of that chaste dishonored dame, Lord Junius Brutus swore for Lucrece's rape.
that we will prosecute by good advice mortal revenge upon these traitorous Goths, and see their blood or die with this reproach.
They rise.
It's sure enough, and you knew how. But if you hunt these bear whelps, then beware. The dam will wake, and if you win you once, the dam will wake, and if you win you once, she's with the lion deeply still in league, and lulls him while she playeth on her back, and when he sleeps, will she do what she list. You are a young huntsman, Marcus, let alone. And come, I will go get a leaf of brass, and with a gad of steel will write these words and lay it by. The angry northern wind will blow these sands like Sibyl's leaves brought, and where's our lesson then? Boy, what say you?
I say, my lord, that if I were a man, their mother's bedchamber should not be safe for these base bondmen to the yoke of Rome. Aye, that's my boy. Thy father hath full oft for his ungrateful country done the like. And, uncle, so will I, and if I live.
Come, go with me into mine armory. Lucius, I'll fit thee, and with all my boys shall carry from me to the empress's son. Presents that I intend to send them both. Sorry. Come, go with me into my armory. Lucius, I'll fit thee, and with all my boys shall carry from me to the empress's son. Presents that I intend to send them both. Come, thou'll do my message, will thou not?
Aye, with my dagger in their bosoms, grandsire.
No, boy, not so. I'll teach thee another course. Lavinia, come. Marcus, look to my house. Lucius and I'll go brave it at the court. Aye, Mary will be, sir, and will be waited on.
All but Marcus exit.
Oh, heavens! Can you hear a good man groan and not relent, or not compassion him? Marcus, attend him in his ecstasy that hath more scars of sorrow in his heart than foemen's marks upon his battered shield, but yet so just that he will not revenge the heavens for old Andronicus.
He exits. Act 4, Scene 2. Tomorrow gives birth to a baby whose black skin signals Aaron's paternity. Aaron arranges for a white baby to take his son's place as Saturninus' heir. He then sets out to take his baby to safety among the Goths. Scene 2. Enter Aaron, Chiron, Demetrius at one door, and at the other door, young Lucius and another with a bundle of weapons and verses writ upon them.
Demetrius, here's the son of Lucius. He hath some message to deliver us. Aye, some mad message from his mad grandfather.
My lords, with all the humbleness I may, I greet your honors from Andronicus, and pray the Roman gods confound you both.
Grand mercy, lovely Lucius. What's the news?
That you are both deciphered, that's the news, for villains marked with rape. May it please you, my grandsire, well advised, hath sent by me the goodliest weapons of his armory to gratify your honorable youth, the hope of Rome, for so he bid me say, and so I do, and with his gifts present your lordships, whenever you have need, you may be armed and appointed well, and so I leave you both, like bloody villains.
He exits with attendant.
What's here? A squirrel, and written round about. Let's see.
He reads.
Integer vitae celeris purus non eget Mari calis nec arcu.
Oh, 'tis a verse in Horace. I know it well. I read it in the grammar long ago. Aye, just a verse in Horace. Right, you have it. Now, what a thing it is to be an ass. Here's no sound death. The old man hath found their guilt, and send them weapons wrapped about with lines that wound beyond their feeling to the quick. But where our witty empress will afoot, she would applaud Andronicus's conceit, but let her rest in her unrest a while. And now, young lords, was it not a happy star? Led us to Rome, strangers and more than so, captives to be advanced to this height. It did me good before the palace gate to brave the tribune in his brother's hearing.
And me more good to see so great a lord. Basely insinuate and send us gifts.
Had he not reason, Lord Demetrius? Did you not use his daughter very friendly?
I would we had 1,000 Roman dames at such a bay, but by turn to serve our lust.
A charitable wish and full of love. Here lacks but your mother for to say amen. And that would she for 20,000 more.
Come, let us go and pray to all the gods for our beloved mother in her pains.
Pray to the devils that God hath given us over.
Trumpets, sound off stage!
Why do the emperor's trumpets flourish thus?
Belike for joy the emperor hath a son.
Soft, who comes here?
Enter nurse with a Blackmore child in her arms.
Good morrow, lords. Oh, tell me, did you see Aaron the Moor?
Well, more or less, or ne'er a wit at all. Here Aaron is, and what with Aaron now?
Oh, gentle Aaron, we are all undone. Now help or woe betide thee evermore.
Why, what a caterwauling dost thou keep? What dost thou wrap and fumble in thy arms?
Oh, that which I would hide from heaven's eye. Our empress' shame and stately Rome's disgrace. She is delivered, lords. She is delivered.
To whom?
I mean, she is brought a bed.
Will God give her rest? What hath he sent her?
Devil.
Why, then she is the devil's dam, a joyful issue.
A joyless, dismal, black, and sorrowful issue. Here is the babe as loathsome as a toad amongst the fair-faced breeders of our clime. Nice. The empress sends at thee thy stamp, thy seal, and bids thee christen it with thy dagger's point.
Zoons, you whore! Is black so base a hue? Sweet blouse, you are a beauteous blossom, sure.
Villain, what hast thou done?
That which thou canst not undo. Thou hast undone our mother. Villain, I have done thy mother.
Oh,
Therein, hellish dog, thou hast undone her. Woe to her chance, and damned her loathed choice. Accursed the offering of so full a fiend.
It shall not live. It shall not die.
Aaron, it must. The mother wills it so.
What? Must it, nurse? Then let no man but I do execution on my flesh and blood.
I'll broach a tadpole on my rapier's point. Nurse, give it me. I swore shall soon dispatch it.
Sooner this sword shall plow thy bowels up. Stay, murderous villains, will you kill your brother? Now, by the burning tapers of the sky that shone so brightly when this boy was got, he dies upon a skim archer's sharp point that touches this my firstborn son and heir. I tell you, younglings, not in Salatis, with all this threatening band of Typhoon's brood, nor great Alcides, nor the god of war, shall seize this prey out of his father's hands. What, you sanguine, shallow-hearted boys, you white-lined walls, you alehouse, painted signs, coal black is better than another hue, and in that it scorns to bear another hue, for all the water in the ocean can never turn the swan's black legs white, although she lay them hourly in the flood. Tell the empress from me, I am of age to keep my own, excuse it how she can.
Wouldst thou betray thy noble mistress thus?
My mistress is my mistress, this myself, the vigor and the picture of my youth. This before all the world do I prefer. This maugre all the world will I keep safe, and some of you shall smoke for it in Rome.
By this our mother is forever shamed.
Rome will despise her for this foul escape.
The emperor in his rage will doom her death.
I blush to think about his ignominy. Why, there's the privilege your beauty bears. Fie, treacherous hue, that will betray with blushing the close enacts and counsels of thy heart. Here's a young lad, framed of another leer. Look how the black slave smiles upon the father, as who should say, old lad, I am thine own. He is your brother, Lord, sensibly fed of thy self-blood that first gave life to you. And from that womb where you imprisoned, where he is enfranchised and come to light. Nay, he is your brother by surer side, although my seal be stamped in his face.
Aaron, what shall I say unto the empress?
Advise thee, Aaron, what is to be done, and we will all subscribe to thy advice. Save thou the child, so we may all be safe.
Then sit down and let us all consult. My son and I will have the wind of you. Keep there. Now talk at pleasure of your safety.
How many women saw this child of his?
Why so, brave lords? Why we join in league? I am a lamb, but if you brave the moor, the chafed boar, the mountain lioness, the ocean swells not so as Aaron's storms. But say again, how many saw the child?
Cornelia, the midwife, and myself, and no one else but the delivered empress.
The empress, the midwife, and yourself. Two may keep the counsel when the third's away. Go to the empress, tell her this I said.
He kills her.
He kills her. Yes. Kills her dead.
Weak, so spit.
What meant thou, Aaron? Wherefore didst thou this?
O Lord swords, 'tis a deed of policy. Shall she live to betray this guilt of ours? A long-tongued babbling gossip. No, lords, no. And now be it known to you my full intent. Now, not far my Miltius, my countrymen, his wife but yesternight was brought to bed. His child is like to her, fair as you are. Go, pack with him, and give the mother gold, and tell them both the circumstance of all, and how by this their child shall be advanced, and be received for the emperor's hair, and substituted in the place of mine, to calm this tempest whirling in the court. And let the emperor dandle him for his own. Hark you, lord, you see I have given her physic.
Indicating the nurse.
And you must needs bestow her funeral. The fields are near, and you are gallant grooms. This done, see that you take no longer days, but send the midwife presently to me, the midwife and the nurse well made away. Then let the ladies tattle what they please. Aaron, I see thou wilt not trust the air with secrets.
For this care of Timora, herself and hers are highly bound to thee.
Demetrius and Chiron exit, carrying the nurse's body.
Now to the Goths, as swift as swallow flies, there to dispose this treasure in mine arms, and secretly to greet the empress's friends. Come on, you thick-lipped slave, I bear you hence, for it is you that puts us to our shifts. I'll make you feed on berries and on roots, and feed on curds and whey, and suck the goat, and cabin in a cave, and bring you up to be a warrior and command the camp.
He exits with the baby. I'm doing my best. Act 4, Scene 3. Titus has his friends and family shoot arrows to which are attached messages to the gods begging that justice, as the goddess Astrea, be returned to earth. When a country fellow enters on his way to the court, Titus gives him a letter to take to Saturninus. Scene 3. Enter Titus, old Marcus, his son Publius, young Lucius, and other gentlemen, Caius and Sempronius, with bows, and Titus bears the arrows with letters on the ends of them.
Come, Marcus, come. Kinsmen, this is the way. Sir, boy, let me see your archery. Look, you draw home enough, and this there straight. Terras astra reliquent. Be you remembered, Marcus. She's gone, she's fled. Sirs, take you to your tools. You, cousins, shall go sound the ocean and cast your nets. Haply you may catch her in the sea, yet there's as little justice as at land. No, Publius and Sempronius, you must do it. Thus you must dig with mattock and with spade, and pierce the inmost center of the earth. Then when you come to Pluto's region, I pray you deliver him this petition. Tell him it is for justice and for aid, and that it comes from old Andronicus, shaken with sorrows in ungrateful Rome. Ah, Rome. Well, I made thee miserable what time I threw the people's suffrages on him, and thus doth tyrannize over me. Go, get you gone, and pray be careful all, and leave you not a man of war unsearched. This wicked emperor may have shipped her hence, and kinsmen, then we may go pipe for justice.
O Publius, is not this a heavy case to see thy noble uncle thus distract? Therefore, my lords, it highly us concerns by day and night to tend him carefully and feed his humor kindly as we may, till time beget some careful remedy. Kinsmen, his sorrows are past remedy. But join with the Goths, and with revengeful war take wreak on Rome for this ingratitude, and vengeance on the traitor Saturnine.
Publius, how now? How now, my masters? What, have you met with her?
No, my good lord, but Pluto sends you word. If you will have revenge from hell, you shall. Marry, for justice she is so employed, methinks, with Jove in heaven or somewhere else, so that perforce you must needs stay a time.
He doth me wrong to feed me with delays. I'll dive into the burning lake below and pull her out of Acheron by the heels. Marcus, we are but scrubs, no chatter? I don't know, this is the word. Chatter, catter, satter we, but no big bone men framed the Cyclops' size, but metal, Marcus, steel to the very back, yet wrung with wrongs more than our backs can bear. And since there is no justice in earth nor hell, we will solicit heaven and move the gods to send down justice to wreak our wrongs. Come to this gear, you are a good archer, Marcus.
He gives them the arrows.
At Jovem, that's for you. Here, at Apollinum, at Martin, that's for myself. Here, boy, to Pallas. Here, to Mercury, to Saturn, Caius, not to Saturnine. You were as good to shoot against the wind. To it, boy. Marcus, lose when I bid. Of my word I have written to effect, there's not a god left unsolicited.
Kinsmen, shoot all your shafts into the court. We will afflict the emperor in his pride.
Now, masters, draw. They shoot. Oh, well said, Lucius. Good boy, in Virgil's lab, give it Pallas.
My lord, I aim a mile beyond the moon. Your letter is with Jupiter by this.
Ha ha! Publius, what hast thou done? See, thou hast shot off one of Taurus's horns.
This was the sport, my lord. When Publius shot, the bull, being galled, gave Ares such a knock
that down fell both the ram's horns in the court, and who should find them but the empress villain? She laughed and told the Moor he should not choose but give them to his master for a present.
Why, there it goes. God give his lordship joy.
Enter a country fellow with a basket and 2 pigeons in it.
News from heaven. Marcus, the post is come. Sirrah, what tidings? Have you any letters? Shall I have justice? What says Jupiter?
Ho, the giblet maker. He says he hath taken them down again, for the man must not be hanged till the next week.
But what says Jupiter, I ask thee?
Alas, sir, I know not Jupiter. I never drank with him in all my life.
My villain, art not thou the carrier?
I am my pigeons, sir. Nothing else.
Why, didst thou not come from heaven?
From heaven, alas, sir, I never came there. God forbid I should be so bold to press to heaven in my young days. Why, I am going with my pigeons to the tribunal plebs to take up a matter abroad betwixt my uncle and one of the emperor's men.
Marcus, speak, Marcus.
Sorry, guys. Why, sir, that is as fit as can be to serve for your oration, and let him deliver the pigeons to the emperor from you.
Tell me, can you deliver an oration to the emperor with grace?
Nay, truly, sir, I can never say grace in all my life.
Sirrah, come hither. Make no more ado, but give your pigeons to the emperor. By me thou shalt have justice at his hands. Hold. Meanwhile, here's money for thy charges. Give me pen and ink. Sirrah, can you with a grace deliver up a supplication? He writes.
Aye, sir.
Then here is a supplication for you, and when you come to him, at the first approach you must kneel, then kiss his foot, then deliver up your pigeons, then look for your reward. I'll be at hand, sir. See you do it bravely.
He hands him a paper.
I warn you, sir, let me alone.
Sirrah, hast thou a knife? Come, let me see it.
He takes the knife and gives it to Marcus.
Here, Marcus. Fold it in oration, for thou hast made it like an humble suppliant. And when thou hast given it to the emperor, knock at my door and tell me what he says.
God be with you, sir, I will.
He exits.
Come, Marcus, let us go. Publius, follow me.
They exit. Act 4, Scene 4. Saturninus, enraged at the message on the arrows, reads the letter brought by the country fellow and sentences him to death. Oh, word comes that Lucius is leading the Goths against Rome. A message is sent to Lucius that Saturninus wishes to meet with him at Titus's house. Meanwhile, Tamora sets out to charm Titus into helping them persuade Lucius to stop the attack. Scene 4, the Emperor Saturninus and the Empress Tamora and her 2 sons, Chiron and Demetrius, with attendants. The Emperor brings the arrows in his hand that Titus shot at him.
Why, lords, what wrongs are these? Was ever seen an emperor in Rome thus overborne, troubled, confronted thus for the extent of equal justice used in such contempt? My lords, you know, as know the mightful gods, however these disturbers of our peace buzz in the people's ears, there not hath passed, but even with law against the willful sons of old Andronicus. And what, and if his sorrows have so overwhelmed his wits? Shall we be thus afflicted in his reeks, his fits, his frenzies, and his bitterness? And now he writes to heaven for his readdress. See, here's to Jove, and this to Mercury, this to Apollo, this to the god of war. Sweet scrolls to fly about the streets of Rome. What's this but libeling against the Senate and blazoning our injustice everywhere? A goodly humor is it not, my lords? As who would say in Rome, no justice were. But if I live, his fiended ecstasies shall be no shelter to these outrages. But he and his shall know that justice lives in Saturninus' health, whom if he helps sleep, he'll so awake as he in fury shall cut off the proudest conspirator that lives. My gracious lord, my lovely Saturnine, lord of my life, commander of my thoughts, calm thee, and bear the faults of Titus' age, the effects of sorrow for his valiant sons, whose loss hath pierced him deep and scared his heart, and rather comfort his distressed plight than prosecute the meanest or the best for these contempts. Why, thus it shall become high-witted Tamora to gloze withal. For Titus, I have touched thee to the quick, thy lifeblood out. If Aaron now be wise, then is all safe the anchor in the port.
Enter country fellow.
How now, good fellow, wouldst thou speak with us?
Yeah, forsooth, and your mistress-ship, the Imperial.
Empress I am, but yonder sits the emperor.
'Tis he. God and Saint Stephen give you good eyen. I brought you a letter and a couple of pigeons here.
Go,
Saturninus reads the letter.
go, take him away and hang him presently.
How much money must I have?
Come, sirrah, you must be hanged.
Hanged? But, lady, then I have brought up a neck to a fair end.
He exits with attendants.
Despiteful and intolerable wrongs! Shall I endure this monstrous villainy? I know from whence this some same device proceeds. May this be born as if his traitorous sons, that did by law for murder of our brother, have by my means been butchered wrongfully. Go, drag the villain hither by the hair. Nor age nor honor shall shape privilege. For this proud mock, I'll be thy slaughterman. Sly, frantic wretch, thou hopest to make me great in hope thyself should govern Rome and me.
Enter, ooh, goodness. Enter Nuntius Aemilius.
What news with thee, Aemilius?
Arm, my lords. Rome never had more cause. The Goths have gathered head, and with a power of high-resolved men bent to the spoil, they hither march amain under conduct of Lucius, son of old Andronicus, who threats in course of this revenge to do as much as ever Coriolanus did.
Is warlike Lucius general of the Goths? These tidings nip me, and I hang the head as flowers with frost or grass beat down with storms. Aye, now begins our sorrow to approach. 'Tis he the common people love so much. Myself hath often heard them say, when I have walked like a private man, that Lucius' banishment was wrongfully, and they have wished that Lucius were their emperor. Why should you fear? Is not your city strong? Aye, but the citizens favor Lucius and will revolt from me to secure him. King, be thy thoughts imperious like thy name. Is the sun dimmed that gnats do fly in it? The eagle suffers little birds to sing and is not careful what they mean thereby, knowing that with the shadow of the wings he can at pleasure stint their melody. Even so mayst thou, the giddy men of Rome, then cheer thy spirit, for know thou, emperor, I will enchant the old Andronicus with words more sweet and yet more dangerous. than baits to fish or honey stalks to sheep, when as the one is wounded with the bait, the other rotted with delicious feed. But he will not entreat his sons for us. If Tamara entreats him, then he will, for I can smooth and fill his aged ears with golden promises that were his heart almost impregnable, his old ears deaf. Yet should both ear and heart obey my tongue? Go thou before to be our ambassador. Say that the emperor requests a parley for war like Lucius, and appoint the meeting even at his father's house, the old Andronicus. Emilius, do this message honorably, and if he stand in hostage for his safety, bid him demand what pledge will please him best.
Your bidding shall I do effectually. He exits.
Now will I to that old Andronicus, and temper him with all the art I have to pluck proud Lucius from the warlike Goths. And now, sweet emperor, be blithe again, and bury all thy fear in my devices. Then go successantly, and plead to him.
They exit. Act 5, Scene 1. 3 more scenes in all. Aaron is captured by Lucius and his army of Goths. After Lucius swears to protect the baby, Aaron confesses to the series of horrors he has committed. When the messenger from Saturninus arrives, Lucius agrees to come to Rome to meet with the emperor. Scene 1. Flourish. Enter Lucius with an army of Goths with drums and soldiers. Approved warriors and my faithful friends, I have received letters from great Rome which signifies what hate they bear their emperor, and how desirous of our sight they are. Therefore, great lords, be as your title's witness, imperious and impatient of your wrongs, and wherein Rome hath done you any scathe, let him make treble satisfaction.
Brave slip sprung from the great Andronicus, whose name was once our terror, now our comfort, whose high exploits and honorable deeds in grateful Rome requites with foul contempt. Be bold in us. We'll follow where thou leadst, like stinging bees in hottest summer's day, led by their master to their flowered fields, and be avenged on cursed Tamara. And as he saith, so say we all with him.
I humbly thank him, and I thank you all. But who comes here, led by a lusty Goth? Enter Goth, leading of Aaron with his child in his arms.
Renowned Lucius, from our troops I strayed, to gaze upon the ruinous monastery, and as I earnestly did fix mine eye upon the wasted building, suddenly I heard the child cry underneath the wall. I made unto the noise, when soon I heard the crying babe controlled with discourse. Peace, 20 slave, half me and half thine dame. Do not thy hue bewray whose brat thou art? Had nature lent thee but thy mother's look, villain, thou mightest have been an emperor. But where thy bull and cow are both milk white, they never do beget a coal-black calf. Peace, villain, peace! Even thus he rates the babe. For I must bear thee to a trusty Goth who, when he knows thou art the empress babe, will hold thee dearly for thy mother's sake. With this, my weapon drawn, I rushed upon him, surprised him suddenly, and brought him hither to use as you think needful of the man.
Oh, worthy Goth, this is the incarnate devil that robbed Andronicus of his good hand. This is the pearl that pleased your empress eye, and here the base fruit of her burning lust. Say, wall-eyed slave, whither wouldst thou convey this growing image of thy fiend-like face? Why dost thou speak? What, deaf? Not a word? A halter, soldiers. Hang him on this tree, and by his side his fruit of bastardy.
Touch not the boy. He is of royal blood.
Too like the sire forever being good. First hang the child so that he may see it sprawl, a sight to vex the father's soul withal. Get me a ladder. A ladder is brought, which Aaron is made to climb.
Lucius, save the child and bear it from me to the empress. If thou do this, I'll show thee wondrous things that highly may disadvantage thee to hear. If thou wilt not, befall what may befall. I'll speak no more, but vengeance wrought you all.
Say on, and if it please me which thou speakest, thy child shall live, and I will see it nourished.
And if it please thee, why assure thee, Lucius, 'twill vex thy soul to hear what I shall speak. For I must talk of murders, rapes, and massacres, acts of black night, abominable deeds, plots of mischief, treason, villainies, ruthful to hear, yet piteously performed. And this shall all be buried in my death, unless thou swear to me my child shall live.
Tell on thy mind, I say thy child shall live.
Swear that he shall, and then I will begin.
Who shall I swear by? Thou believest no God. That granted, how canst thou believe an oath?
And what if I do not? As indeed I do not. Yet for I know thou art religious, and hast a thing within these called conscious, with 20 popish tricks and ceremonies, which I have seen thee careful to observe. Therefore I urge thy oath, for that I know an idiot holds his bauble for a god, and keeps the oath which by thy God he swears. To that I'll urge him. Therefore thou shalt bow by that same God, what God soever it may be, what that thou adorest and hast in reverence, to save my boy, to nourish and bring him up, or else I will discover not to thee.
Even by my God, I swear to thee I will.
First now thou I begot him on the empress.
Oh, most insatiate and luxurious woman!
Taught Lucius, this was but a deed of charity, 'tis to that which thou shalt hear of me anon. 'Twas our 2 sons that murdered Basanias. They cut thy sister's tongue and ravished her, and cut her hands and trimmed her, as thou sawest.
Oh, detestable villain, callest thou that trimming?
Why, she was washed and cut and trimmed, and 'twas trimmed sport for them, which has had the doing of it.
Oh, barbarous, beastly villains, like thyself.
Indeed, I was their tutor to instruct them that codding spirit had they from their mother, as sure as card has ever won the set. By bloody mine, I think they learned of me, as true as dog ever fought his head. Well, let my deeds be witness of my worth. I trained thy brethren to thy guileful hole, where the dead corpse of Basanias lay. I wrote the letter that thy father found, and hid the gold within that letter mentioned. Confederate with the queen and her 2 sons, what not done, that thou hast cause to rue, wherein I had no stroke of mischief in it. I played the cheater for thy father's hand, and when I had it, drew myself apart, and almost broke my heart with extreme laughter. I pried me through the crevice of a wall, when for his hand he had his 2 sons' heads, beheld his tears, and laughed so heartily that both mine eyes were rainy like his. When I told the empress of this sport, she sounded almost at my pleasing tale, and for my tidings gave me 20 kisses.
What canst thou say all this and never blush?
I, like a black dog, as the saying is.
Art thou not sorry for these heinous deeds?
I, that I had not done 1,000 more. Even now I curse the day, and yet I think few come within the compass of my curse. Wherein I did not some notorious ill, as kill a man or else devise his death, ravish a maid or plot the way to do it, accuse some innocent and forswear myself, set deadly enmity between 2 friends, make poor men cattles, break their necks, set fires on barns and haystacks in the night, and bid the owners quench them with their tears. Oft I have digged up dead men from their graves and set them upright at their dear friends' doors, even when their sorrows almost was forgot, and on their skins, as on the bark of trees, have with my knife carved in Roman letters, let not your sorrow die, though I am dead. But I have done 1,000 dreadful things, as willingly as one would kill a fly. And nothing grieves me heartily indeed, but that I cannot do 10,000 more.
Bring down the devil, for he must not die. So sweet a death is hanging presently. Aaron is brought down from the ladder.
If there be devils, would I were a devil, to live and burn in everlasting fire, so I might have your company in hell, but to torment you with my bitter tongue.
Sirs, stop his mouth and let him speak no more. Enter Emilius.
My lord, there is a messenger from Rome desires to be admitted to your presence.
Let him come near. Emilius comes forward. Welcome, Emilius. What news from Rome? Lord Lucius, and you princes of the Goths, the Roman emperor greets you all by me, and for he understands you are in arms, he craves a parley at your father's house, willing to demand your hostages, and they shall be immediately delivered.
What says our general?
Emilius, let the emperor give his pledges, and to my father and my uncle Marcus, and we will come. March away. They exit. Act 5, Scene 2. Tamora, disguised as Revenge, tells Titus that she has come to his aid, and that if he will invite Lucius to a feast, she will bring Tamora and Saturninus so that Titus can avenge himself on them. When she leaves, Titus insists that her companions, rape and murder, Chiron and Demetrius in disguise, remain with him until her return. He then cuts their throats and collects the blood, which he will mix with their ground bones into pastry for a pie to be served to Tamora. Scene 2. Enter Tamora and her 2 sons disguised.
Thus, in this strange and sad habiliment, I will encounter with Andronicus, and say I am Revenge, sent from below to join with him and right his heinous wrongs. Knock at his study, where they say he keeps to ruminate strange plots of dire revenge. Tell him Revenge is come to join with him and work confessions on his enemies.
They knock, and Titus above opens his study door.
Who doth molest my contemplation? Is it your trick to make me ope the door so my sad decrees may fly away and all my studies be to no effect? You are deceived, for what I mean to do, see here in bloody lines I have set down, and what is written shall be executed.
Titus, I come to talk with thee.
No, not a word. How can I grace my talk, wanting a hand to give it action? Thou hast the odds of me, therefore no more.
If thou didst know me, thou wouldst talk with me.
I am not mad. I know thee well enough. Witness this wretched stump. Witness these crimson lines. Witness these trenches made by grief and care. Witness the tiring day and heavy night. Witness all sorrow. I know thee well. For our proud empress, mighty Tamora, is not thy coming from my other hand?
Know thy sad man, I am not Tamora. She is thy enemy and I thy friend. I am Revenge, sent from the infernal kingdom to ease the gnawing vulture of thy mind by working wreakful vengeance on thy foes. Come down and welcome me to this world's light. Comfort with me of murder and of death. There's not a hollow cave or lurking place, no vast obscurity or misty veil where bloody murder or detested rape can couch for fear, but I will find them out. And in their ears, tell them by dreadful name, Revenge, which makes the foul offender quake.
Art thou Revenge? And art thou sent to me to be a torment to mine enemies?
I am. Therefore, come down and welcome me.
Do me some service ere I come to thee. Lo, by thy side where rape and murder stands, and now give some assurance that thou art revenge. Stab them, or tear them on thy chariot wheels, and then I'll come and be thy wagoner, and whirl along with thee about the globe, provide thee two proper palfreys, black as jet, to hail thee, thy revengeful wagon swept away, and find out murderers in their guilty caves. And when thy car is loaden with their heads, I will dismount, and by thy wagon wheels trot like a servile footman all day long, even from Hyperion's rising in the east until his very downfall in the sea. And day by day I'll do this heavy task, and so thou destroy rapine and murder there.
These are my ministers, and come with me.
Are they thy ministers? What are they called?
Rape and murder. Therefore call it so, 'cause they take vengeance of such kind men.
Good Lord, how like the Empress's son they are, and you the Empress. But we worldly men have miserable, mad, mistaking eyes. O sweet revenge, now do I come to thee, and if one arm's embracement will content thee, I will embrace thee in it by and by.
He exits above.
This clothing with him fits his lunacy. Whatever I forge to feed his brain-suck humors, do you uphold and maintain in your speeches, for now he firmly takes me for revenge. And being credulous in this mad thought, I'll make him send for Lucius, his son, and whilst I at banquet hold him sure, I'll find some cunning practice out of hand, to scatter and disperse the giddy Goths, or at the least make them his enemies. See, here he comes, and I must ply my theme.
Enter Titus.
Long have I been forlorn, and all for thee. Welcome, dread fury, to my woeful house. Rapine and murder you are welcome to. How like the Empress and her sons you are. Well, are you fitted had you but a more? Could not all hell afford you such a devil? For well, I wot the Empress never wags, but in her company there is more. And would you represent a queen aright? It were convenient you had such a devil. But welcome as you are. What shall we do?
What wouldst thou have us do, Andronicus? What would thou have us do, Andronicus?
Speak, murder.
Wait.
It's Zoe.
It's Zoe.
Sorry. What line is it?
Show me a murderer.
Show me a murderer, I'll deal with him.
Show me a villain that hath done a rape, and I am sent to be revenged on him.
Show me 1,000 that hath done thee wrong, and I will be revenged on them all.
Look round about the wicked streets of Rome, and when thou find'st a man that's like thyself, good murder, stab him, he's a murderer. Go thou with him, and when it is thy hap to find another that is like to thee, good rapine, stab him, he is a ravisher. Go thou with them, and in the emperor's court there is a queen attended by a Moor. Well shalt thou know her by thy own proportion, for up and down she doth resemble thee. I pray thee, do on them some violent death. They have been violent to me and mine.
Well, hast thou lessoned us? This shall we do. But would it please thee, God Andronicus, to send for Lucius, thy thrice valiant son, who leads towards Rome a band of warlike Goths, and bid him come and banquet at thy house? When he is here, even at thy solemn feast, I will bring in the empress and her sons, the emperor himself and all thy foes, and at thy mercy shall they stoop and kneel, and on them shalt thou ease thy angry heart. What says Andronicus to this device?
Marcus, my brother, 'tis sad Titus calls.
Enter Marcus.
Go, gentle Marcus, to thy nephew Lucius. Thou shalt inquire him out among the gods. Bid him repair to me, and bring with him some of the chiefest princes of the gods. Bid him encamp his soldiers where they are. Tell him the emperor and the empress too feast at my house, and he shall feast with them. This do thou for my love, and so let him as he regards his aged father's life.
This will I do, and soon return again.
Marcus
He exits.
Now will I hint about thy business, and take my ministries along with me.
Nay, nay, let rape and murder stay with me, or else I'll call my brother back again and cleave no revenge but Lucius.
What say you, boys? Will you abide with him whilst I go tell my lord the emperor how I have governed our determined jest, yield to his humor smooth and speak him fair, and tarry with him till I turn again?
I knew them all, though they supposed me mad, and will o'erreach them in their own devices. A pair of cursed hellhounds and their dam.
Madam, depart at pleasure. Leave us here.
Farewell, Andronicus. Revenge now goes to lay a complot to betray thy foes.
I know thou dost, and sweet revenge, farewell!
Tamara exits.
Tell us, old man, how shall we be employed?
Tut! I have work enough for you to do. Publius, come thither. Caius and Valentine.
Publius, Caius, and Valentine enter.
What is your will?
Know you these two?
The Empress's sons, I take them. Chiron, Demetrius.
Fie, Publius, fie, thou art too much deceived. The one is murder, and rape is the other's name, and therefore bind them, gentle Publius. Caius and Valentine, lay hands on them. Oft have you heard me wish for such an hour, and now I find it. Therefore bind them sure, and stop their mouth if they begin to cry.
Titus exits.
Villains, forbear, we are the Emperor's sons.
And therefore do we what we are commanded. Stop close their mouths. Let them not speak a word. Is he sure bound? Look that you bind them fast.
Enter Titus Andronicus with a knife, and Lavinia with a basin.
Come, Lavinia. Look, thy foes are bound. Sirs, stop their mouths. Let them not speak to me, but let them hear what fearful words I utter. Oh, villains, Chiron, and Demetrius. Here stands the spring whom you have stained with mud, this goodly summer with your winter mixed. You killed her husband, and for that vile fault, 2 of her brothers were condemned to death. My hand cut off and made a merry jest. Both her sweet hands, her tongue, and the more dear than hands nor tongue, her spotless chastity, inhumane traitors you constrained and forced. What would you say if I should let you speak? Villains, for shame you cannot beg for grace. Hark, wretches, how I mean to martyr you. This one hand yet is left to cut your throats, whiles that Lavinia tween her stumps doth hold the basin that receive your guilty blood. You know your mother means to feast with me, and calls herself revenge, and thinks me mad. Hark, villains, I will grind your bones to dust, and with your blood and it I'll make a paste, and of the paste a coffin I will rear, and make 2 pasties of your shameful heads, and bid that strumpet, your unhallowed dam, like to the earth swallow her own increase. This is the feast that I have bid her to, and this the banquet she shall surfeit on. For worse than Philomel, you use my daughter, and worse than Procne, I will be revenged. Now prepare your throats. Lavinia, come, receive the blood.
He cuts their throats.
And when that they are dead, let me go grind their bones to powder small, and with this hateful liquor temper it, and in that paste let their vile heads be baked. Come, be everyone officious, make this banquet, which I wish may prove more stern and bloody than the centaur's feast. So, now bring them in, for I'll play the cook and see them ready against their mother comes.
They exit carrying the dead bodies. Act 5, Scene 3, final scene, I think. At the feast, Titus serves the pie made from the bodies of Chiron and Demetrius. He then stabs Lavinia, reveals the actions and the fate of Timora's sons, and stabs Timora. Saturninus kills Titus, and Lucius kills Saturninus. Marcus and Lucius address the Romans, recounting the horrors perpetrated by Timora and Aaron. Lucius is hailed as the new emperor, Aaron is condemned to a dreadful death, and Titus is mourned by Marcus, Lucius, and young Lucius. Scene 3, enter Lucius. Marcus entered the Goths with Aaron, guards, and an attendant carrying the baby. Uncle Marcus, since 'tis my father's mind that I repair to Rome, I am content.
And ours with thine befall what fortune will.
Good uncle, take you in this barbarous moor, this ravenous tiger, this accursed devil. Let him receive no sustenance. Fetter him till he be brought unto the empress's face for testimony of her foul proceedings, and say the ambush of our friends be strong. I fear the emperor means no good to us.
Some devil whisper curses in my ear and prompt me that my tongue may utter forth the venomous malice of my swelling heart.
Away, inhuman dog, unhallowed slave. Sirs, help our uncle to convey him in. Sound trumpets. The trumpets showed the emperor's hand. Guards and Aaron exit. Enter Emperor Saturninus and the Empress Timora, with Aemilius, tribunes, attendants, and others.
What hath the firmament more sons than one?
What boots it thee to call thyself a son?
Rome's emperor and nephew break the parley. These quarrels must be quietly debated. The feast is ready, which the careful Titus hath ordained to an honorable end, for peace, for love, for league, and good to Rome. Please you, therefore, draw nigh and take your places.
Marcus, we will.
Trumpet sounding. Enter Titus, like a cook, placing the dishes with young Lucius and the others, and Lavinia with a veil over her face.
Welcome, my lord. Welcome, dread queen. Welcome, you warlike Goths. Welcome, Lucius, and welcome all. Although the cheer be poor, 'twill fill your stomachs. Please, you eat of it.
They begin to eat.
Why art thou thus attired, Andronicus?
Oh, because I would be sure to have all well to entertain your highness and your empress.
We are beholding to you, good Andronicus.
And if your highness knew my heart you were, my lord emperor resolved me this. Was it well done of rash Virginius to slay his daughter with his own right hand because she was enforced, stained, and deflowered?
It was, Andronicus.
Your reason, mighty lord?
Because the girl should not survive her shame, and by her presence still renew his sorrows.
A reason mighty, strong, and effectual. A pattern, precedent, and lively warrant for me most wretched to perform the like. Die, Lavinia, and thy shame with thee, and with thy shame thy father's sorrow die.
He kills Lavinia.
What hast thou done, unnatural and unkind?
Killed her, for whom my tears have made me blind. I am as woeful as Virginius was, and have 1,000 times more cause than he to do this outrage, and it now is done.
What? Was she ravished? Tell who did the deed?
Will please you eat? Will please your highness feed?
Why hast thou slain thine only daughter thus?
Not I, 'twas Chiron and Demetrius. They ravaged her and cut away her tongue, and 'twas they that did her all this wrong.
Go fetch them hither to us presently.
Why, there they are, both baked in this pie, whereof thy dear mother daintily hath fed, eating the flesh that she herself hath bred. 'Tis true, witness my knife's sharp point.
He stabs the Empress!
Die, frantic wretch, for this accursed deed!
He kills Titus! Can the son's eye behold his father bleed? He kills Saturninus! There's meed for meed, death for a deadly deed. A great tumult. Lucius, Marcus, and others go aloft to the upper stage.
You sad-faced men, people and sons of Rome, by uproars severed as a flight of fowl scattered by winds and high tempestuous gusts. Oh, let me teach you how to knit again this scattered corn into one mutual sheaf, these broken limbs again into one body.
There's more, Marcus.
Still you, my love.
My text says it's Roman Lord. There's no Roman Lord? Okay. Let Rome herself be bane unto herself, and she whom mighty kingdoms curtsy to, like a forlorn and desperate castaway, do shameful execution on herself. But if my frosty signs and chaps of age, grave witnesses of true experience, cannot induce you to attend my words, speak,
He turns to Lucius.
Rome's dear friend, as erst our ancestor, when with his solemn tongue he did discourse to lovesick Dido's sad attending ear, the story of that baleful burning night when subtle Greeks surprised King Priam's Troy. Tell us what Sinon hath bewitched our ears, or who hath brought the fatal engine in that gives our Troy, our Rome, the civil wound. My heart is not compact of flint nor steel, nor can I utter all our bitter grief, but floods of tears will drown my oratory and break my utterance even in the time when it should move ye to attend me most, and force you to commiseration. Here is Rome's young captain, let him tell the tale, while I stand by and weep to hear him speak.
Then gracious auditory, be it known to you that Chiron and the damned Demetrius were they that murdered our emperor's brother, and they it were that ravished our sister. For their fell faults our brothers were beheaded, our father's tears despied, and basely cozened of that true hand that fought Rome's quarrel out, and set her enemies unto the grave. Lastly, myself, unkindly banished, the gates shut on me, and turned weeping out to beg relief among Rome's enemies, who drowned their enmity in my true tears, and oped their arms to embrace me as a friend. I am the turned forth, be it known to you, that have preserved her welfare in my blood, and from her bosom took the enemy's point, sheathing the steel in my adventurous body. Alas, you know I am no vaunter. My scars can witness, dumb although they are, that my report is just and full of truth. But soft, methinks I do digress too much, citing my worthless praise, so pardon me, for when no friends are by, men praise themselves.
Now is my turn to speak. Behold the child. Of this was Tamara delivered, the issue of an irreligious Moor, chief architect and plotter of these woes. The villain is alive in Titus' house, and as he is to witness, this is true. Now judge what cause had Titus to revenge these wrongs, unspeakable past patience, or more than any living man could bear. Now have you heard the truth? What say you, Romans?
Have we done aught amiss? Show us wherein, and from what place where you behold us pleading, the poor remainder of Andronici will hand in hand all headlong hurl ourselves, and on the ragged stones beat forth our souls, and make a mutual closure of our house. Speak, Romans, speak, and if you say we shall, lo, hand in hand, Lucius and I will fall.
Come, come, thou reverend man of Rome, and bring our emperor gently in thy hand. Lucius, our emperor, for well I know the common voice to cry it shall be so.
Lucius, all hail, Rome's royal emperor! Yes.
Go, go into old Titus' sorrowful house, and hither hail that misbelieving Moor, to be adjudged some direful slaughtering death as punishment for his most wicked life.
Attendants exit. Lucius and Marcus come down from the upper stage.
Lucius, all hail, Rome's gracious governor!
Thanks, gentle Romans. May I govern so to heal Rome's harms and wipe away her woe. But gentle people, give me aim a while, for nature puts me to a heavy task. Stand all aloof, but uncle, draw you near, to shed obsequious tears upon this trunk. He kisses Titus. Oh, take this warm kiss on thy pale cold lips, these sorrowful drops upon thy blood-stained face, the last true duties of thy noble son.
Tear for tear, and loving kiss for kiss, thy brother Marcus tenders on thy lips.
He kisses Titus.
Oh, were the sum of these that I should pay countless and infinite, yet I would pay them.
Come hither, boy. Come, come, and learn of us to melt in showers. Thy grandsire loved thee well. Many a time he danced thee on his knee, sung thee asleep, his loving breast thy pillow. Many a story hath he told to thee, and bid thee bear his pretty tales in mind, and talk of them when he was dead and gone.
How many thousand times hath these poor lips, when they were living, warmed themselves on thine? Oh, now, sweet boy, give them their latest kiss. Bid him farewell. Commit him to the grave. Do them that kindness, and take leave of them. Oh, grandsire, grandsire, even with all my heart would I were dead, so you did live again.
He kisses Titus.
O Lord, I cannot speak to him for weeping. My tears will choke me if I open my mouth.
Enter Aaron with guards.
You said Andronici have done with woes. Give sentence on this execrable wretch that hath been breeder of these dire events.
Set him deep-breast in the earth and famish him. There let him stand and rave and cry for food. If anyone relieves or pities him, for the offense he dies. This is our doom. Some stay to see him fastened in the earth.
What should wrath be mute and fury dumb? I am no baby. I that with base prayers I should repent the evils I have done. 10,000 worse than ever yet I did would I perform, if I might have my will. If one good deed in all my life I did, I do repent it from my very soul.
Aaron is led off by guards. Some loving friends convey the emperor hence, and give him burial in his father's grave. My father and Lavinia shall forthwith be closed in our household's monument. As for the ravenous tiger, Tamara, no funeral rite, nor man in mourning weed, no mournful bell shall ring her burial, but throw her forth to beasts and birds of prey. Her life was beastly and devoid of pity, and being dead, let birds on her take pity. They exit, carrying the dead bodies.